Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome to TRICENTIS Tosca Advanced Training. So this is our 9th YouTube video in terms of advanced level concepts. And this is our 24th YouTube video in terms of overall TRICENTIS Tosca concepts. So in this lesson, I'm going to teach you how can you set a repetition on folder level so that you can achieve some of the automation concepts very easily. That means you can achieve some complex test cases, or you can automate some complex test cases very easily by using set repetition at folder level. And also I'm going to teach you about the result count, how we can use these result count attribute while setting up the repetition at folder level, and then how can we use the explicit name or a result count as an explicit name or repetition count as an explicit name at test step level. So basically we are going to automate one critical functionality by using set repetition at folder level by using latest version TRICENTIS Tosca. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you. Okay, first let us understand the concept of setting up repetition at folder level. So by end of this session, you will learn how to use repetition at folder level, and we are going to add some repetition value to a test step folder to achieve the repetition at folder level. Okay, and we'll be use the repetition notation within a test step. So once you define the repetition value at step folder level, you are going to use the same repetition notation at test step level. Okay, so it is a parameter that allows Tosca to repeat steps a specified number of times. So you can define the repetition only on test step folder level, which tells Tosca to repeat the step within the folder. Okay, so you can instruct Tosca how many times to repeat the action. Okay, so we are going to how many times that we can achieve by using result count. Okay, so now let's jump onto the system and see a critical scenario or very important scenario. How can we automate by using result count and by using set repetition at folder level and by using explicit name? Okay, all these combinations, by using all these combinations we are going to achieve the automation. Okay, so now let's jump onto the system. Okay, so this is my TRICENTIS Tosca latest version. Okay, so before we start automating the scenario by using the folder level repetition, right? So let us understand what is the scenario that we would like to automate and how can we achieve that particular automation by using folder level repetition. Okay, so as usual, I just logged into demo web shop, right, on which we are working from past couple of sessions, right? So and then I added a couple of products like belt, jeans and shoe in the shopping cart. Okay, so now I want to empty this shopping cart. If you remember correctly, so in my previous session we already automated this emptying shopping cart functionality by using while loop. Okay, where I have covered concepts of while, if, else conditions, right? Okay, we already performed automation of emptying shopping cart by using while. But in this session we are going to automate the same scenario by using repetition on folder level and also by using result count. Okay, so how can we achieve the automation? Let's automate the scenario now. Okay, for that let's go back to our TRICENTIS Tosca, navigate to exercises and go to repetition folder. Under repetition folder you have empty shopping cart test case, which I already created. Okay. Under this, under process, there is a folder called empty shopping cart. So basically, what is this test case? It's basically what it is doing. It is simply logging in, adding some products, and then it's gonna empty the shopping cart, right? And then we are gonna log out from the session. Okay. Okay, so once I click on this empty shopping cart, I can see there are two steps. One is I'm navigating to cart and then updating the shopping cart. That means I'm navigating to cart. Once you navigate to cart, you need to check the checkbox and click on update shopping cart. You need to check all the checkboxes that are available. So basically all the items that are available in your shopping cart and click on update shopping cart. Then that will remove all of your items from the shopping cart. So let's say you have 10 items. You have to click on this remove checkbox for the 10 items and then click on update shopping cart, which will remove all the items from shopping cart. Okay. So that's what we are going to do. Okay. For that, let's go back to empty shopping cart folder and then start working on this particular folder. Okay. So for now, let's create one additional folder. Okay. So let me create one additional folder under empty shopping carts, or let me create additional a test step. Okay. What test step? I want to call an shopping cart test step. So how? Just place on the folder, empty shopping cart folder, Control T, and then I'm going to call the shopping cart module. Okay. And name this shopping cart module as verify. What I'm going to do, I'm going to verify if the items exist in the shopping cart or not. Okay. So verify table exists. Okay. So I have to put this into the logical order. First, I will be navigating to cart. So then verifying if the shopping cart table exists. This is a table. Okay. If the table exists or not, I'm going to verify. And then again, let me call the same shopping cart functionality again. Okay. Control T, shopping cart module, and name this as count number of unique items in cart. So let me name this as count number of unique items in the cart. Again, drag and drop here. So first I'm going to verify if the table exists. If table exists, how many number of items exist in this table? Okay. And then I need to calculate. So then I'm going to create one more test step to set. Okay, let me just. Okay. So now again, let's call another step. Control T. Here, I'm going to set a buffer. I'm going to set the buffer. Okay. Buffer. T-box set buffer. Why? I'm going to tell you. Okay. See, when I'm actually again drag and drop here. Okay. So after counting number of items here, right? What it will do? Number of items. Oh, sorry. I think we called some wrong table. Okay. Let's do one thing. Count number of unique items. We called some wrong module here. Let's do one more time. Control T. Shopping cart. Yeah, shopping cart. Okay, module. Yeah, this is correct. So let's drag and drop here. Once I verify the table, I need to count the number of unique items, right? Number of unique items. Let's name this as count number of unique items in cart. Okay, once I count the number of unit, what happens, right? When I count the number of items, what it will do, it's going to count the header also. This is your header 1, this is the second row 2, 3, 4. So that means I have to remove the header part basically. So when I get the result count, it's going to give me all the table rows including header. So that's why now what I'm doing here, I'm gonna calculate the number of items without header. So that means that's why calculate items in cart without header. How? By using set buffer. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to populate the values shortly. Okay. And then here, once that is done, let me create another folder. Now, once I calculate, now I have to start removing the items, correct? So for that, let me create one folder. Right click here, create folder, and name this as select remove. So that means once I get it, I have to select remove for all the items that are existing in the shopping cart. Again, drag and drop here. Okay. Now, once I select remove, now it is our time to populate all the values now. Okay. So now let's populate values first. Verify table exists. So I want to verify if the table exists or not. Correct. So what table? This is the table, shopping cart table. Correct. So for that, simply just take this as exist is equal to true. Okay. I'm verifying if the table exists. And then here I need to select the action mode as verify. I'm verifying. So that is done. Once I verify, I need to count here. Let's expand this. Count the number of unique items in the cart, right? So for that, this is my table, correct? And this is my rows, correct? And under rows, I want to verify, I want to see the result count. So the result count gives you the number of items available in the shopping cart. Okay, here just put this as result count, and I want to calculate the number of items, and I want to store them into a buffer called cart items. Okay, and here let's select the action mode as buffer. Okay, so what I am doing, number of rows, whatever the result count gives me, I'm storing it into buffer called cart items, right? So this gives you the number of rows exist in the table, including the header. So now it's time for me to remove the header. How? Let's go to the next test step called calculate items in cart without header. For this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one buffer. I'm going to set the buffer called actual cart number. What is our actual cart number? My actual cart number is, let me copy this buffer. Okay, name, let me copy this buffer number. My actual cart number is, I need to use the math function here. Math. Okay, math take the buffer that we got here above buffer. Okay, what is the buffer? Your cart items is your buffer, correct? Cart items is buffer. Take that buffer and then enter the buffer name here. Okay, for that, capital B buffer, sorry, with curly braces, capital B buffer, and then cart items. Cart items. See, it shows my cart items. And then close square braces, close curly braces. Now I have to remove one because it is also calculating the header, right? I want to remove one. If I get total number of results count as 4, then I have to remove one, and your actual cart items are 3, right? So that's why I'm removing one. Close the square braces and curly braces. So this will give you actual number of items in the cart. Okay, so done. I calculated that as well. Now navigate to your select remove folder. Now, okay, what we are going to do for select remove folder, I'm going to specify the repetition here. What repetition I'm going to specify? I'm going to specify it as my actual cart number, correct? So let's specify the repetition as, let's call the buffer, what buffer? The actual cart number. Actual cart number buffer. And specifying the repetition value as the actual cart number. That means I want to repeat selecting these remove checkbox. How many times? The number of times I got from the actual cart number. Okay, so that means number of items. How many number of, let's say 3 items. That means I need to select 3 times, right? So I am asking to repeat this folder. See, as soon as I provide some value here, the folder, if you see, the repetition symbol is shown here. Okay, done. Now let's insert some test steps in this particular folder. Okay, first empty shopping cart. Okay, let's again, I'm going to call the same shopping cart. See, shopping cart module here, and name this as empty cart. Okay, I named this as empty cart. Okay, so once I click on empty cart, I mentioned as empty cart. Okay, here what we need to do, we have to now empty the shopping cart. So as I remember, this folder will repeat number of times whatever we specified here. Okay, so now here let's go to your row here. Okay, each row here I can do one thing. Okay, either I can select my first row, hard coded. If I select first row, what I'm going to do, it's going to select here. If I select second row, if I mention as $2, it will select your second item, right? Now I don't want to do that. What I want to do, I want to use the repetition. How? See, you need to specify dollar curly braces repetition, repetition, and close your curly braces. What it will do, whatever you specified in the repetition, so here I'm using the same explicit name. So basically this repetition can be used as an explicit name. What I'm doing for the test step itself, I am changing the name of your test step as a repetition. Okay, so now expand this, and here I need to select remove, right? Here you need to select remove, and then once you select remove, here if you expand remove again here. Okay, so instead of verify, I want to select it as select. Under remove column, so basically see row 1, your row 1, my columns are remove, product, price, quantity and total, right? So what I did here, I selected remove instead of product, price, quantity. I selected the column called remove. Under column called remove, I can see the checkboxes, right? So these are all the columns. For the row 1, column remove, and here this is my checkbox. So I want to make this as true. I want to check the checkbox and your action mode is true. That means what it will do, let's say I got the actual cart number as 3. First it comes here. First it takes as 1. It checks the checkbox. Again it repeats the same thing. This time it's going to take it as number 2 and then it's check the checkbox. And then again it's going to repeat, and this time the column number will be taking as 3. Sorry, the row number will be taking as 3. So that way it's going to repeat the number of times the actual cart items present. Okay. Hope you all understand. So there is no confusion, right? So if you have any queries, you can leave your queries in the comment box. Okay. So that is done. I think we are good now. Okay. So now let's run this entire test case and see how it works. Okay. Run this entire test case. Let me make sure we achieved everything. Okay. We are navigating to shopping cart and we are verifying if table exists, and then we are counting the number of rows, result count by using result count, and we are removing the header row, correct, from the number of rows, and then we are selecting remove by using repetition. I'm using repetition here. I'm selecting the checkbox. The number of times is same as your number of items. And then I'm clicking on update shopping cart. See the button called update shopping cart button after checking all the items. Okay, so hopefully it should work. Let's log out. Let me first empty the shopping cart. Okay, let me empty the shopping cart. Okay, and then log out and close it. Okay. So now let's run this now. Okay, right click and click on run Scratchbook, run in Scratchbook. So it should log in first. It should open your web shop, and then it should add some random products to the shopping cart, and then it should remove the shopping cart by using repetition functionality. Okay, so it is logging in. Once it is logging in, so it's going to go to the shopping cart and then it's going to add some items. Okay, it's adding blue jeans, right, to the shopping cart, 25 blue jeans, and then it went to jewelries and it is adding some diamond heart, right, done. So now it's going to the shopping cart, and then see it checked both the check boxes and clicked on update shopping cart. Okay, so if you see here, all the test cases, the test case is passed. So basically all the steps are successfully completed. So if you see here, if I go to select remove folder, right, so if you see here, the repetition, actually it is repeating twice. See, that means it checked 2 times because the shopping cart has only 2 items. So if your shopping cart has more than 2 items, then it's gonna check multiple times, 4 times. Okay, so hope you all understand the concept of how to use a repetition at folder level, and then how can you use your result count also, right, to calculate the number of rows, and then how can you use the repetition attribute at test step level, right? I specified it as $repetition, right? So if you have any queries, leave your queries in the comment box. I'll try to respond to your queries. Thank you. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you.